Welcome. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we are so delighted that you have welcomed us to be with you. Now, we would love to hear from you, so send us a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. Well, today our guest is Joey Pontarelli. Now, Joey Pontarelli is with us, and he is the founder of Restored Ministry. And this beautiful ministry is dedicated to helping teens and young adults find healing following their parents' divorce so that they can avoid sinful and destructive behavior in their own lives, so they can live a virtuous and a holy life after divorce. A child of divorce himself, he has authored this beautiful book, It's Not Your Fault. And it's a practical guide to navigating the pain and the problems that come from your parents' divorce. And this beautiful book is available at ewtnrc.com. And we certainly enjoyed having Joey on yesterday. And it's a great conversation. It's one that isn't being shared, isn't being told. And, you know, he has a great website. It's called restoredministry.com. Go to his website, and he has so many resources there available for you. And one of the things he even shared is that he has a bundle for, all you do is go to restoredministry.com/at-home. But then also about the holidays. The holidays are coming up. How do you prepare? How do you navigate the conversation? Where are you going? What are you doing? What about your feelings? And just healing and hope. And that's what this ministry is about. So it's a new day for you. It's a new day for the church. It's a new day for our culture. We don't have to be broken and disconnected and isolated. We can be healed, restored, and repaired, and we too can be saints.
We'll be right back. Plenty more to come. Please don't go away.
Welcome back. We are at home with Jim and Joy, and today our guest is Joey Pontarelli. Now, Joey is the founder of Restored Ministry, and this beautiful ministry has come for a time such as this, and it helps teens and young adults find healing following their parents' divorce. He's authored a beautiful book. It's called It's Not Your Fault, a practical guide to navigating the pain and problems from your parents' divorce. And this book is available at ewtnrc.com. Well, Joey, you were wonderful yesterday, and we're glad you're back today. But we want you to first tell our family a little bit about yourself and what you experienced and how close this ministry is to your own heart.
Yeah, no, I care so much about young people from broken families because I went through what they go through. I was 11 years old about when my parents separated and later got divorced. And I'll never forget the day when I found out the news that my dad would no longer be living with us. In fact, my parents were getting divorced. I didn't know what to do with that news. And so I remember just hiding in the closet and crying. And sitting in that closet, I felt abandoned. I felt unwanted. I felt like I just wasn't good enough, even though I couldn't have put it into words then. And in the months and years that followed, I dealt with all sorts of pain and problems. I dealt with emotional problems like anxiety, depression, loneliness, a lot of anger for me as a boy. I dealt with relationship struggles. If someone would have told me all the ways in which my parents' divorce would impact my relationships and even my future marriage, I probably wouldn't have believed them. For example, I swore to myself after my parents split that I would never get married. Because if this is where marriage leads, why in the world would I want that?
You really made a vow.
Yeah, and so you can see there were just all sorts of other problems that came with it. For example, just bad habits. Around that time, I was just going through so much pain, and a buddy of mine introduced me to pornography. And so that became my drug of choice. It was my way of numbing the pain. But even as a boy, I knew I wanted to be happy, and porn wasn't making me happy. And so I knew I needed to change. And I heard Jason Everett speak, the famous chastity speaker and author, and really transformed my life. He became a mentor of mine. We even have a partnership with his ministry now to get that book in the hands of young people. He gives it away at all of his school assemblies now, which is beautiful. And so Jason helped me a ton, was able to get poured out of my life, live a pure life, and that helped a ton. Also got new friends. The sports buddies I was hanging around with weren't good for me. And so I got these new friends who were just these really happy people. And I was like, whatever it is you have, I want. And it turned out to be their Catholic faith. So I started to learn my faith, to pray, to build the virtue, to seek out God's plan for my life. And that all helped a ton. But I still felt broken. And so I realized this principle is true for all of us in life, and that is after sin, because sin's the worst thing in the world. It's the cause of all the unhappiness in the world. But after sin, the thing that holds us back most from becoming saints is our untreated brokenness. And so I knew I needed to heal. And so I looked around for some help, something practical and specific for a young person like me. And I was shocked to find that there was really nothing out there. And the reason that shocked me is because I looked around at my siblings and I saw how they were struggling. I looked at close friends of mine who were going through their parents' divorce, and I saw how they were struggling, often in serious ways. And then over the years, I started reading the research and just understanding this is a huge problem, but for some reason, nobody's talking about it. As a result, this group of people is being hugely neglected. And so after going to Franciscan University and spending time in the business world scaling a company, I wanted to take those skills to build resources for teenagers and young adults. And so that's what we do. We help teenagers and young adults from broken or divorced families to heal and build virtue so they can break that cycle and ultimately become saints. And the main way we do that is by creating content and resources that make healing simple. And our whole vision, as you guys know, is not just to break the cycle, but to reverse it. Because we believe if young people can heal from their trauma and build virtue, they're going to build healthy relationships, strong marriages, and holy families, and that's going to transform our culture.
I keep seeing so many parallels with children of divorce and that scenario and abortion and post-abortion healing. I think of the words of John Paul II with those who are directly involved with abortion. And he says to them, there's circumstances, situations, but this is, should not happen. But receive healing, he said, and you will become one of the most eloquent spokespersons on behalf of the gospel of life. You, who are involved with this. And that's what you're saying too. It's not, some of it is that children divorced aren't even in touch with what's going on so often. There's a lack of light and why am I doing these things? But once they get touched and they see the light and that cycle becomes broken, and God has so much more for you. He wants your marriage to be the most eloquent marriage that it could possibly be, because you know what could happen. You know the grace of God, the power of the sacrament. So it's not only healing and getting in touch with it, that God wants to use you, because marriage and family is God's plan to transform this world. Amen. And that's what Satan's attacking so terribly is marriage. And not only one marriage, but repeating it generation after generation after generation. He's not happy with just one. He wants to ruin everyone, every marriage.
Every marriage, yeah. I know it's a disaster, and I couldn't agree more. And I think if we look at the medical world, like what's the process of healing there? First, you have to diagnose the wound, the illness, before you can heal it. And so, like you said, that's one of the processes that we put young people through, is just kind of waking them up to the reality that the struggles that you face today, the emotional problems, the bad habits, the relationship struggles, those are intimately connected. According to research, it's not something we're just making up. They're intimately connected to the breakdown of your family and the trauma you endured, especially if your parents got divorced or separated, or there just was a lot of dysfunction at home. And so once you have that awareness and you see your brokenness, then the question is, how do you heal?
Right.
And that's where we come in and try to provide resources and point them to experts and things like that.
Those are the 3 points that I saw up on your website. You got to identify the brokenness. Similar to healing physical injuries, identify the trauma you need to heal. Second, pick the resources. So you're saying pick them because you're talking about your website.
Yeah.
We have resources for you. First, know what's going on, and then pick the resources that help you. Choose the resources that restore, that resonate with you. Content, coaching. Feel whole again. Become a happier, healthier, and stronger person. And the way you communicate this, it sounds like you really believe it. That this can happen. You really believe, as much as you're diagnosing the problems, you really are like optimistic 100%. In a terrible situation, that come to Christ, know reality and be set free.
Absolutely. There's so much joy and happiness to be found in living a life, that's Christ-centered. And becoming a saint is the greatest thing you could do with your life, by far. And so, like I said, the 2 things that stand in the way are sin vice and brokenness, in my opinion, untreated brokenness. So if we address both of those, so if we heal our trauma, if you heal the brokenness, and there's specific ways you can do that, and if we get vice out of our life and we build virtue, then we're going to be these healthy, whole individuals who can go on and build healthy relationships, strong marriages, and holy families. And like we were saying, that's the key to transforming our culture. There was some research done by Communio, a new organization that's focused on building marriages, and they found that the number one reason, the main reason that young people are falling away from their faith now is because they come from families where the parents aren't married. That's the reason, they said. And they cross-referenced that with Gallup data, and they found that that is the core reason why young people are falling away from their faith. And we see that left and right in our ministry as well. One of the big barriers, and I know I faced this personally, is we really, really struggle in our relationship with God. We really struggle to believe that He loves us. We ask the question, like, God, where were you when my family was falling apart? I had to wrestle with that myself.
Absolutely.
And so after years and years of asking that question and spiritual direction and so many hours of adoration and making use of the sacraments, what I received, what I heard was God saying, I was right there with you in the midst of it. Because it felt like He was just on the sidelines. It felt like He was watching from a distance. But what I heard, what I realized is He was right there in the midst of it with me. He was with that 11-year-old Joey sitting in the closet crying too, saying, it's not meant to be this way. I don't want it to be this way. And so what I've realized is that sometimes God's only response to our pain is His presence. Father Mike Schmidt said that, and I think it's so true.
And you don't want to be little Joey sitting in the closet.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And there's all these little Joeys and little Jims. I have my own trauma.
Sure.
That's legitimate, real, and I didn't ask for it. It just came my way.
Yeah.
And so that's real, and I've got to embrace that somehow, but I've got to grieve it, mourn for myself, get the information I need, get the light that I need, get the power that I need from God Almighty. And so understand that's a part of my sanity reality, the past, but I'm not going to live in that. I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to live right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to set my face towards the future, my marriage, my family, my relationship with my parents, who my whole world was shaken because of the divorce or separation, whatever took place. And just understand that everybody is really broken, but that there's an answer for that brokenness, and we want to be set free. And so that's what you're offering.
Yeah.
And you're offering content coaching? What's the thing with
Yeah,
coaching?
yeah. So we're building a network. We're still in the early stages of this ministry, but we're building a network of counselors, of spiritual directors, of mentors that we trust, that we recommend, that we vet, who can really walk with young people. Because I don't know about you, in my life, mentorship, spiritual direction has been life-changing, transformative, truly. And so that's one of the things that we're focused on. When it comes to the content, same thing. Good information, timely information, practical information that helps you change as a person is life-changing. And so that's what the content's focused around. And then finally, when it comes to community, I learned from Dr. Bob Schutz, who's a friend and a big supporter. I know a friend of yours too. He said that at the root of almost every wound is a deprivation of love. And so naturally, the antidote to brokenness is authentic love, first to be found in Jesus and God, but then also in human relationships as well. It's incredibly healing. And so we try to connect young people from broken families. We're actually piloting a new program called the School of Love, where we pair up young people from broken families with healthy marriages and families, so they can spend 2 days a month with them doing a house project, having a bonfire, a meal, and just soak in what it's like to live in a healthy, functional family. Because for so many of them, they haven't seen that. And so as a result, they think, I will never get married. And they think it's hopeless. They think that love doesn't last, marriage doesn't last, and if it does, it's just going to be misery.
Well, and it is the whole culture, because it's everything that they're seeing on TV. It's all these relationships we're getting in and getting out of. Nobody's committed. And the biggest word that I think that we've omitted is sacrifice. We've been married for 46 years. We got married in front of a cross, which meant at that point, we were to die to ourselves and live for Christ and then live for each other all the days of our life, no matter what we felt like. Right? No matter what we felt like. And what you've done out of your pain and out of your wound is you've done the hard work and you've done the sacrifice with going to adoration and seeking wise counselors and going before the Lord and seeking God. And so if we're doing it in a marriage where we're nowhere committed, you have to sacrifice. That is the way of our living. That is who we become, our true authentic self. We're following Jesus. We want to become saints. We have to sacrifice. And so we have to do that with great love. And if love has been ruptured and broken in our soul, we can only go to the wounded healer, which is Jesus. Amen. And can say, Lord, make me whole. God, I have to forgive a whole bunch of people who intentionally or unintentionally caused this wound. But Jesus, I need right now to be the best version of myself that I could be, so I can get on with my living and make a beautiful family, right? As you're doing with your wife, and you're doing it different than what was done to you.
Yeah, and it's going to be messy, like you said. It's something we don't want to idealize, healing or marriage or the family life. It is messy. It's painful at times. You go through seasons that are really difficult. But we've been conditioned in our culture that if we want something, we just click a button and it shows up on our doorstep in 2 days. Not so with marriage. Marriage is more like farming. It takes time to see the fruit of your labor. And so, but everyone, all of us truly know that anything worth it in life is going to take work. Like ask any Olympian who's won the gold medal.
Right.
They didn't win it by sitting on a couch and watching Netflix. They won it by getting up and training every day, especially when they didn't feel like it. If we want great marriages, why should we expect anything different? And so to any parents watching as well, I wanted to hit on that, because I know that's a, you know, they're hearing all of this and thinking, well, man, I didn't mean to do that to my children. I want to help them. How do I help them? So I just want to say a few things to parents, if that's okay.
Yes.
One, I'm so sorry for what you've been through. I know the reasons for divorce vary quite a bit, and I just want to say I'm sure it's been painful. I'm sure it's been difficult, and I just want you to know you play a key role. Now is not the time to quit. You play a key role in mitigating the negative effects that we've talked about in the research that I explained in my life too. There's a study in Turkey of high school students. They found that, as you'd expect, these high school students who went through their parents' divorce were more likely to struggle with loneliness, depression, and anxiety. But if they had a good relationship with one or both parents, they were far less likely to struggle with loneliness, depression, and anxiety. And so the lesson there is like a good relationship with you, asking your child for forgiveness, apologizing, perhaps there's a place for that, building that strong relationship beyond just the surface level is going to be so key. And so to any parents who maybe are considering divorce right now, I would just encourage you, like, I know you're going through a lot of pain. I know it's difficult. I know it's not easy. But I have to say, like, fight for your marriage. It's not popular to say. Again, we've just prescribed divorce for problems within marriage, even within the church, and it's so sad. Like, people deserve better. And so, yes, if there's abuse, if there's violence, get to safety. That's what the church says. That's what we support, of course. But by and large, that's not the majority of situations. We need to fight for our marriages. And so how can you help your kids? That's a question I get a lot from parents. Like, how do I help my kids? We have a whole course on this, which I know you mentioned at the top of the show. We'll mention again at the end, on how you can help someone who comes from a broken family. But 3 just quick tips. The first is stop sugarcoating. So often in our culture, we sugarcoat this whole topic of divorce. We say things, well-intentioned people say things like, well, your family is not broken, it's just changed, or now you have 2 homes and twice as many Christmas presents. Again, maybe well-intentioned, but super harmful. I remember interviewing a young woman named Erin on my podcast, and she said, the day after my parents separated, I went to school, and it had been super painful for her, the whole process. She went to school, everyone knew about it, it was public knowledge, teachers, students, friends, all that. But everyone acted like it wasn't a big deal. And to her, it was so confusing. She said, I'm so hurt by this thing, and everyone acts like it's not a big deal. Is something wrong with me?
Right.
Yeah.
And so we just have to call divorce what it is, a tragedy, a trauma, something that we need to grieve and heal from. Another tip I would say is just validate the feelings that they're going through related to the first tip, because so often we're not validated, we're overlooked, we're neglected. We're expected to just be resilient and to move on with our lives, but the truth is we're not going to heal unless we are allowed, like you said, to grieve, to go through those difficult emotions. So I remember our mutual friend Layla Miller, a Catholic author, she told me the story of this woman who was a substitute teacher. On the playground one day at recess, there's a little girl kind of off playing on her own, so the teacher goes over and says, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing this weekend? And the girl said, well, I'm going to spend the weekend with my dad. My parents are getting divorced. And the teacher thankfully knew the research and knew the truth about divorce, and she said, oh, I'm so sorry, that's really difficult. And the little girl kind of nonchalantly said, oh, no, it's no big deal. But the teacher kind of pushed in a little bit and said, no, 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 that's really, really difficult. I'm so sorry you're going through that. And at that, the little girl broke down and cried. And so we just need to, again, validate, like, if you're feeling frustrated, abandoned, unwanted, you know, alone, like all those things, like that's to be expected. That's to be expected because you've been through that trauma. And so the final tip would be just expose them to healthy marriages and families. There's something so healing. I've lost count of the amount of times people have told me that who come from broken families, how healing it is to just spend time with good marriages and families. And so if you could arrange that, that's going to be incredibly helpful as well.
We're going to take a break at this point and hold you over for the final segment. Thank you for the wisdom and realities that you're sharing. It's restoredministry.com. Please go there, get the resources. There's a special bundle, restoredministry.com/at-home. Wherever you are in this, whether your parents, this happened with your children of divorce or separation, and if you're a minister, you're a priest, you're a bishop, you're working with young people, this is really a must. This is the unspoken wound that needs to be healed, and it can be healed, and people can break the cycle of divorce and just be on fire for marriage and for the family. But they need the information. We'll be right back. Plenty more to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. We continue our conversation just briefly now before we close out with Joey Pontarelli, restoredministry.com. It's Not Your Fault. Wonderful book. We just got about 2 minutes left. What's on your heart at this time?
Yeah, a lot of these topics can be so heavy to discuss, so I want to end with a message of hope. If you come from a broken family, you're not doomed to repeat that dysfunction. You can write your own story. You can build a better life, build healthier relationships. I know your parents want that for you. If you don't come from a broken family, but you know people who do, you can step in and help them. You can help them to help themselves. You can help them to build that better future, to break that cycle of dysfunction. Jim, like you mentioned, John Paul II said, as the family goes, so goes the nation, and so goes the whole world in which we live. Yeah. Another way of saying that is that the condition of our culture will always be reflected in, or I should say it this way, the marriages and the families in our culture will always reflect the condition of our culture. And so basically, if our marriages and families are broken, our culture is going to be broken. If they're healthy and whole, the culture will be healthy and whole. And so that's worth fighting for. And so we've prepared resources to help people to heal and build virtue. And so, like you mentioned, we have that bundle at restoredministry.com/at-home. Yeah. And so if you go there, you'll get information on our podcast, which features stories and expert interviews. We have free courses, 2-hour courses, one on trauma, another on how to help someone who comes from a broken family, and then we also have a holiday guide, 5 tips to better navigate the holidays in a broken family. And so all that, again, is on the website at restoredministry.com/at-home.
Joey Pontarelli, thank you so much for being with us.
Honored.
And the work that you're doing to help to renew the church and bring awakening to our country and to the world. And so much of it is focused on the state of the family, and you're wanting to make that a more beautiful state.
Thank you.
It's Not Your Fault, a practical guide to navigating the pain and the problems from your parents' divorce. It's available. Get it now. EWTNRC.com, EWTNRC.com. What a time of hope. This is another area for healing and for restoration in the church. It's a time to understand how you can put on the full armor of God in this situation and prevail and quench every fiery dart of the enemy against you. God bless you. You're never alone. You're always at home with Jim and Joy. Bye now.
Ta-da.